8. And in fact, a good time to play Gin Wigmore, because I know our next guest is a bit of a fan. Paul Brislen, our high-tech correspondent, talking about the high-tech stories of the week, and also, in a funny kind of way, in a Sunday newspaper gossip type way, Gin Wigmore's also tied into the story that we're about to be talking about. G'day, Paul.
G'day. She is, isn't she? I'd forgotten about that. Yes, yeah. She's a big fan of Mega Upload, apparently. Allegedly. According to her publicist.
Well, yes. Yeah. So according to the story in the Sunday Star Times, she recorded a Mega Upload song for Kim.com, but I don't think that has seen the light of the day. But it's also it does shed some light on why Gin Wigmore was mentioned in the Universal DMCA takedown of the Mega Upload song on YouTube that she wasn't part of, but for some reason Universal thought that she might have been part of. It's all very complicated.
Clearly the left hand is completely in contact with the right hand and doesn't even know that they've got feet as well. No idea. But I saw a tweet today that said the Motion Picture Association is not yet comfortable with the internet as a medium, and this was from one of their own people. And I thought, well, yes, that's clearly quite right. Yes.
Oh man, that's such an old fuddy-duddy way of putting things. I'm not quite comfortable with this thing called the internet.
So we're going to ignore it for a little bit, yes, and we're going to get it wrong. We're going to mess with it and try and break it so that it's more like what we think it should be like.
Yeah, and these are all the weird, odd twists and turns in this Kim.com Mega Upload story. And now it kind of looks like America really kind of wants to own the internet. Is that right?
Well, yeah, it's rather interesting. So I've been I'm no lawyer, but I've been talking to a few of them about extradition, and obviously Kim.com has allegedly committed several crimes in the US, and I said, but he was never there. He wasn't in the US. He's a German citizen with a Finnish passport, living in New Zealand, working for a Hong Kong-based company. What's all this got to do with the Americans? And the answer that came back is twofold. Firstly, the crimes were committed in America because that's where the copyright material was taken from, allegedly. And secondly, that the Americans own the internet. And I thought, well, that's rather interesting. I know that the internet came from the Department of Defense project back in the 60s. It was certainly established by the Americans, but ownership of the internet? No, I don't remember voting for that one. And I'm pretty sure the internet's a collection of computers connected together. My computer's got nothing to do with the Americans. Thanks very much. This is really quite an interesting turn up for the books, particularly when it comes down to the way the wording of the extradition treaty between New Zealand and the US, which says the crime and the criminal must have been present on the other side's soil, flights, or ships, I think is how they phrase it.
Yeah.
Which to my mind means that you've actually got to be physically present in the other country committing the crime to be extradited. So clearly he wasn't. So that's going to be a very interesting twist to the whole case.
But his servers apparently were in Virginia.
Some of them were, and clearly, that side of the equation is taken care of. But he absolutely wasn't in the US when any of these crimes were being committed. He was in Coatesville, where he has apparently paid for fibre optic cable to be laid to the Crisco mansion so that he could play Modern Warfare 3. And as a byproduct of this, he put out a request for tenders that was very, very specific on what he wanted. And as a byproduct of this, apparently Coatesville School now has fibre optic cable for free because nice. He was laying it past to the mansion. Well, that's right.
There you go. It's very nice.
Clearly.
Just on that, on Modern Warfare thing as another wee odd kind of twist and turn to the story. The fact that he's played over 700 hours of Modern Warfare says to me that he can't really be fully in charge of a worldwide $1 million company because you certainly don't have the time if you're playing Modern Warfare.
When did it come out? It came out in November. Have there been 700 hours since? Honestly, I like to play the odd game, but that's a little bit obsessive. I'm sorry, Kim. You need to get out more, my friend. You really, really do. And unfortunately, yeah. I did like the inflatable tank, though, that turned up on his property the day after the raid. Things would have been quite different if the tank guy had delivered a day early, I can tell you.
Yeah. Now,
imagine the cops flying in their choppers. You know, there would have been trouble then.
Now, Kim's got his fans, obviously, because, you know, he is this sort of eccentric character. He hasn't gone out and, you know, beaten anyone up or shot anyone or, as far as, you know, done anything. Yeah. And he seems to be the geek in a lot of ways. So if some people are struggling to figure out why he has so much sympathy, it's because he's not a murderer, you know, he's not.
That's right. You know, what is the crime here? There's talk of money laundering. He does look to me to be a bit of a ratbag, but for the most part, he just strikes me as the geek of all geeks. You know, that he allows his 12-year-old inner child to come to the fore once too often. Looking at the video clips and the YouTube stuff, and I actually start to think that he's also on the back end of a fairly orchestrated PR campaign that is, you know, really setting out to paint a picture of him as some kind of a nutbag with too much time and money on his hands, who clearly should spend some time in the big house with some proper criminals so that he can learn the error of his ways.
Yeah.
And the way the leaks and the information that have come out so far seem to just be all around painting the picture of him as someone you can't trust. You know, the other day we had transcripts of Skype conversations. That's another issue to consider. Yeah. Transcripts of Skype conversations released by the FBI, pointing out that even his friends and colleagues don't trust him. Now that's, you know, why are they releasing anything at this stage? Isn't it now all before the courts, and they should just, you know, shut up?
They haven't provided any evidence to New Zealand courts for the extradition.
Well, I don't know what they've provided. No,
it
seems to be quite light at this stage. And copyright is not that's one of the things I've learned about extradition is you've got to have committed a crime that's on the list of extraditable offences, and copyright certainly isn't one of them. I imagine that's why money laundering and some of the other crimes have been added in. If those all get dropped subsequently, I don't know, what do we do? Do we de-export him? You know, do we bring him back and say, oh no, you can't extradite him now. We'll de-extradite him. We'll have him back, thanks. It is really quite interesting, and I saw a story the other day that said perhaps this has got far more to do with Mega Upload's next project, which of course is a legitimate music sharing site that allows the artists to post directly to the site and to make more money off the deal than they currently get through the various iTunes sites. You know, perhaps that was more of a concern to the RIIA, MPAA, and RIAA than anything else that was going on.
Because the middlemen would lose the money, but the artists get all the money, which is exactly how it should be.
It should be. Yeah, exactly. And no need for the middlemen, because we don't need distribution models, and we don't need a big marketing campaign. We've got the internet. Thanks all the same. Thanks for your time. You've had a lovely ride of it, but now that ride is over, and you know, as we've discovered, they're not yet comfortable with that as an idea. So
now
we shall see where all that leads.
Just getting back to the extradition, if you were a conspiracy theorist, you might say that it doesn't matter what evidence is presented, he will be extradited, because if he doesn't, there could be penalties for New Zealand at, say, the free trade level.
The free trade.
Bye-bye free trade agreement. You didn't help us out with this guy. You didn't send him back.
You couldn't find a way clear to send him back, and clearly you're harbouring now. You're harbouring known fugitives from the law. Yeah. Did you see his YouTube clip? He's clearly unhinged.
Yeah.
Therefore, it is all intertwined. The Americans do play that political / economic game, because to them, that is really what all of this free trade agreement stuff is all about, is securing a stronger footing for American goods overseas. And they're clearly being told to be stern on this copyright issue. We've seen Pippa, SOPA. It's not done yet. I'm sure there'll be more to come, and it's all intertwined with the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, which is being nutted out by various Pacific nations at the moment to try and build a free trade area. Once the Americans joined, of course, copyright and IP issues got dumped on the table, and that's as far as it's going. So There are big issues there, bigger issues than just one man.
Someone could say that brings into question the independence and sovereignty of our judicial system, but neither you nor I could possibly comment.
No, and I would hope that that's the beauty of our judicial system, that one judge can sit there and say, actually, you guys have not proven your case whatsoever to me. Copyright isn't an issue for extradition, so why are we having this conversation? Young man, you're free to go, just don't drive so fast.
Yeah.
And that'll be that.
Yeah. And make sure you don't park a real tank on lawn.
And watch out for the giraffes when you're backing. Oh, it's all too late now.
Yeah. And maybe play less games, a little more attention to the business.
Get a little bit more sun, you're in New Zealand, go tramping, get a kayak, you'll be fine.
Hey, Paul Brislen, thanks very much for your time this morning.
Anytime, thanks. With the giant head.
Twitter.com/Paul Brislen. Yes, you can find this as a video once more up in the YouTube channel on kiwifm.co.nz, the Radio Wammo show page.